today's invited speaker, Dr. Mahesh Chandar, and all the participants and the team from Manage. Very good morning to all of you. And for this Manage International Conference on Agricultural Extension and Advisory Services, Innovation to Impact. And yesterday we had very great presentations, and there are 5 presentations, and there is a keynote talk from Dr. Christine Davis. She was talking about the past, present, and future of agriculture extension. She was almost from 1800, how extension was evolving in somewhere Mesopotamia from those days onwards today, and how it is extension, what are the issues, challenges, or privatization or agripreneurship, how it is happening. And also, what is the future challenges like climate change, or when market we are talking, how value chain based extension we need to provide, like that she was talking about agriculture extension. Then again, we had the very interesting session on leveraging innovation through agriculture extension and advisory services, pathways to unlock the potential of extension advisory services to achieve the sustainable development goals by the Dr. Selvaraju. He was the head of the research and extension unit of the FAO. He was dealing with all the 6 themes of the conference and what are the challenges like innovating and modernizing agriculture extension systems, or moving towards extension with entrepreneurship, or having the new extension like extension for urban farming, or how we can have the better extension for livestock and dairy and fisheries sector, all, and with the perspective of agriculture innovation system perspectives he is putting, and also whatever work FAO doing in 34 countries also he highlighted, and also there are some of the tropical agriculture network and other thing also he highlighted. Later on we had the session about how curriculums are important and what are the issues in India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Dr. Murari Svedi and with Dr. PVK Sashidhar, they had a study in these 3 countries. There is a lot of competencies we need to put it. There is a perception, there is understanding from students and faculties, and how we can put it, what are the areas, like that. Very interesting presentation. Again, from Mali and Ethiopia, Dr. Messi put it, how demand-driven curriculum was already implemented in 11 countries through Africa Association. And that was very quite interesting presentation. Then we had the presentation about farm innovators and how we can take these innovations to next level scale up, like that. Dr. Ravi Kishore from Krishi Vigyan Kendra from Acharya and G. Ranga Agriculture University we had. And this all presentation we'll be putting on Sunday, we'll be putting on the online, and you can go through. That's why I'm not repeating the contents. Today we'll start with the invited talk from Dr. Mahesh Chandar. As you know, many of you are aware, Dr. Mahesh Chandar is currently Joint Director of Extension Education at Indian Council of Agriculture Research, IVRI. He is associated with several national and international bodies dealing with agricultural extension, sustainable livestock production, and organic farming. He is also contributing in several national and international committees to develop the standards for sustainable agriculture and animal husbandry. He has been a member of Advisory Committee of Agribusiness Incubation Cell and Institute Technology Management Committee at IVRI, and coordinating the entrepreneurship development courses. He has been a member secretary as well as member of the 11th and 12th plant subgroups of the Livestock Technology Transfer Service, Government of India. And also he was awarded Best Teacher Award, and also he was the most acclaimed teacher, and he guided a large number of students. And he is Dr. Mahesh Chandar will talk about effective extension and advisory services for promoting livestock entrepreneurship, what, why, and how. And he will throw more light on how we can take entire livestock system and the entrepreneurship angle. And today, a lot of startups and people are talking about agribusiness in the big way. He will talk about why you need it and what all things are happening, and how, like that, with a lot of examples. Yeah, Dr. Mahesh Chandar, sir, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Saravanan. I'm trying to share my slide. Oh, it is. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfect. Yeah, it is there, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Then my topic is extension and advisory services for promoting livestock entrepreneurship. What, why, and how. I shall be sharing not exactly, absolutely on livestock. I will be mixing with the crop experiences, how these can be adapted to livestock and fisheries sector and elsewhere. So this is a shifting maybe a problem.
Sir, you can left hand side you can see, sir, there is small arrow 01. There is arrow mark in downside. It will goes to next page. In your left hand side you can see, sir. Yeah, there is a 01. Yeah, left hand side there is a 01, and bottom there is arrow mark. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, fine.
So agriculture extension defined means that you might be knowing that we are having a lot of problem with the definitions of extension itself, even after so many years of working in extension and academically speaking, there used to be huge number of definitions. J. Paul Legals onwards, so many people have said. But what happened when the government of India constituted this doubling the farmers' income, popularly known as the Dalwai Committee report? They looked into all these definitions. So then what they came out, they said that all these definitions need to be changed, need to be re-looked into current context. So what they said, agriculture extension is an empowering system of sharing information. They added this word empowering, and knowledge, technology, skills, risk, and farm management practices across agricultural subsectors and along all aspects of the agriculture supply. This is the new word included into supply chain. So then it emphasized the importance of value chain extension also, so as to enable the farmers to realize higher net income from their enterprise on a sustainable basis. This is what is the definition has been given by the Dalwai Committee. And then very well, and if you have seen the document produced, they have written almost 14 documents on doubling the farmers' income. One is dedicated to agriculture extension, very well written that document, which highlight the importance of value chain and enterprise. What they said further, agriculture including animal husbandry be seen as an enterprise to enhance farmers' income towards farming viability and sustainability. So they emphasize that it need to be seen as enterprise, that agriculture. Livestock production need to be market oriented, supported by market-led extension. So these are the things which should dictate the agriculture development. So onwards now, in order to double the income of farmers. So we are talking in this context, how that can be done. So I like this particular slide. It differentiates between a farmer and agripreneur. So farmer is conventionally speaking has been growing traditionally some crops or raising some livestock as a way of life. There was no business component into it, no cost benefit ratio, no economics involved. Simply they kept on growing, and then all the time criticizing that agriculture is not profitable, they are not earning something like that. But the entrepreneurs, not is going beyond production. They were looking into the business sense. So there are a lot of traits of the agripreneurs, how they differ from farmers. So agriculture extension people, they have to see that how farmers can be turned into agripreneur, so that they can take it as an enterprise and develop further. So these are if you look at to take care of agriculture, there are a multitude of extension service providers, like from Department of Agriculture, ICR, Ministry of Agriculture, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, SAUs, SGUs, Atmas, DH, NGOs, cooperatives, farmer producer organizations. We are now increasingly talking about private sector is engaged. Input dealers are doing extension service. Corporate social responsibility also delivering extension services. Farmer to farmer extension is also happening. Lead farmers are there doing their job good. So all these extension personnel working in this variety of extension services being provided by different providers, they need new capacities to meet new challenges. Animal husbandry is no longer a way of life in that sense, but a business. Produce what market demands. If you are producing something which market doesn't need, so it will be a failure on the part of producer as well as on the part of the extension service providers. I like this particular example of ragi crop. And on the similar pattern, many crops, livestock, and all that can be molded. And this is just an example I'm giving you. Millet, your ragi, we call it in Hindi. So this is a kind of a very neglected crop for many years and almost on the verge of extinction, at least in Uttarakhand I have seen, it was disappearing very fast. But now when the people saw a business opportunity, this particular crop, rather than simply from this rice flour and making chapati like this, and then the variety of products are now being developed from this. If you look at, you see, they have added glamour to this crop by making variety of product. Ragi cookies, dosa, all different kind of sweets coming out of it. And then not only restricted, you see the ragi bar, now it's a fanciful. And then you see the price conversion, how it turns price, a profit making venture working on ragi products. So how it can be, this is a one very good example. You see variety of product. Even the drinks, several beverages have been made out of it. It is being exported. And the hidden, all the nutritional elements into like calcium and iron has been highlighted properly. Ragi biscuits, these are also under export. So what is happening in livestock sector? This landscape is very fast changing now and it need to change. And if you have looked into doubling the farmers' income documents produced by ICR, Ministry of Agriculture, even by the different state departments, they are all available on the web. So they indicate that there is a great opportunity for doubling the farmers' income from livestock, fisheries, and horticulture, what we call allied sector. Allied sector has a big potential to double farmers' income. So now we have to see that productivity versus profitability. We have been since generations, we have been thinking in terms of productivity. Now a new generation of farmers, those who we call entrepreneurs, they look into profitability aspects. Sometimes it may so happen. So you can earn with the little production. So by value adding in some way, which market need it and which is in demand in the market. Subsistence to commercial animal production, commodity versus farming systems orientation, local market versus export market. Why we should think only in terms of the local market? Why not to think about the export? And what are the commodities which can be exported? We have to think about seasonal production versus round the year production, commission agents versus direct marketing. People are coming up for direct marketing, mandi versus online sale, personal contacts versus online advisory, unconventional farming. You see, donkey milk for cosmetics. Who thought that donkey could be so useful? People now selling cosmetics made out of the donkey milk. One Miss Pooja Kaul is now, she is in a limelight and she is selling cosmetics and she is paying good price for the milk. So you see this kind of innovative product, if farmers are doing that, they can think of earning profit out of the farming, livestock products, production led to market-led extension. These are some of the dimensions. Production-led extension to market-led extension, when we saying about the knowledge about production technologies is fine, but not good enough. Since long time, we have been telling farmers, you do feed this, and the production will go up. But now we feel that very well, we realize that that is not good enough. We have to go beyond production. Extensionists must be equipped with information on market intelligence, prices, consumers' preferences, and satisfaction, value chain processing. That is processing, value addition, marketing of produce, likely future scenario for different livestock products. We have to analyze as extension person all these things and share this information with the farmers. Not simply knowing this thing, feed this thing and production will go up. The farmer now asking that, what I will do with the more production? I have production, but what to do with this? I am not getting good price. How he will get good price? That is also the role of the extension agents. Extension people should tell this thing. Farmers have to transform themselves from mere producers to producer sellers, farmers retailers. Make product and take some of the jobs in the market chain themselves, start doing it so that they can earn more. To transform farmers, extension services too must transform. Production led to market led, how it can be made that. For that, we need a lot of information. Secondary and tertiary agriculture has become more important than primary agriculture. We have been always concerned about the primary product. If you are saying some grain, we are selling the grain. If you are producing milk, we are selling milk. Now we have the primary, what to do with the cow production. If you are having cattle production, what you can do with the cow dung, what you can do with the horns of the cows, how it can be make profit of everything of that product, what to make, how to make variety of product from milk itself, value added milk products. The extension which take note of the market and advise farmers as per the market demand, that is market led extension, which is very important to revolutionize livestock sector. And as far as profit making from livestock sector, it is very important. I will give you another example of the organic products. Consumers are asking for certified organic products. When there is demand, there has to be supply. So if you are not thinking, you see the kind of markets are coming up, even for the livestock product. This is certified organic bio ghee. Who will tell farmers about this particular thing, how it can be made? So it's our responsibility that we have to educate farmers on this kind of product, which are having export demand, high export demand. Eggs. So value added eggs also. Sometimes somebody will think, what is value added? Some people are talking cholesterol free, some antibiotic free products. So chicken, organic chicken. So certified organic chicken. You see the kind of market is coming up and the kind of products our farmers are producing. So we have to match with the market need. You see the housing requirement. So we have to educate farmers on new kind of housing requirements which are welfare oriented. Animal welfare is very important dimension. So how to keep animals, you see cow is kept such a nice way. So this we have to see that extension agents have to realize. Can our farmers compete? We have to think in these terms also. Dairy farm need to be modernized. So, and the new kind of a dairy ventures are coming up. They need extension support. Are we ready to give that kind of support, what they need? So now I was talking of organic. This is a document produced by National Products under National Program on Organic Production, NPOP, Government of India. It is very much available. So how many extension people are aware about this kind of a document in the market? The farmers are asking that information. If they are conventional farmer, they want to switch over to organic livestock farming. How to do this? Consumers are increasingly looking for fresh, safe, and high quality products of animal origin. There is a willingness to pay for high quality meat and eggs. Organic livestock production offer good opportunity for developing country producers. We need to prepare ourselves for this likely change. There are multiple challenges. So are we aware about what are the challenges and how to meet these challenges as extension agents? We have to think over all these things. If you look at the organic world, sometimes people questions, who are the organic producers? There is no chance. That may be your personal opinion. But if you look into the data, 72.3 million hectare land in 187 countries, over 3.1 million producers grow organic foods worldwide. 106 billion US dollar global market is there for organic products. Where we stand, India, in terms of number of producers, now over 13 lakh producers are certified organic producers in India. What extension services are not able to cater to need, they are depending on the certification agencies for extension advice. So how many extension personnel are about to give advice on organic farming to farmers? Sometimes many extension people say, don't do it, it is not good. Farmers say, I'm not asking whether to do or not, I want to do, you tell me how to do it. Organic production scenario is also in Europe. This is also slowly coming up in India. You see, this is the latest, only 10 days back, these are the global figures on organic, how organic sector is developing. So now how in India, so this farmer from Hyderabad, 30 kilometers from managed, so this Sri Khan Mannan, so with the support of the agribusiness incubator from ICR, NAM, he has have organic dairy and also produced a Saro organic, this kind of a poster, and this girl has done MBA from NAM Hyderabad on organic, this facility. Then he got information from NAM, this one, and then from NDRI and here and there, he got support, and now he's coming up. So extension people, so if you meet a conventional extension staff, can he cater to the need of this kind of emerging farmers? Sometimes it's they feel this difficult to tell. So now farmers are branding their farms. So brand names like any other commodity. So branding, this is changing. So they are now this kind of emerging entrepreneurs, they are frustrated with many a time with extension people. Because thanks to Google, they feel that now they can learn a lot from the Google. So now we have to be matching so that we can be one step ahead than the Google in telling farmers, extension people how to go about. So these are very interesting farmers growing all together, all the way from Switzerland. This person came to get the organic farm produced so that he can import to Switzerland potatoes. So this kind of negotiating, farmers are negotiating themselves as the education is growing up. So sometimes extension people, where we fit into this kind of a scenario. So these are brand naming UPR from the Andhra Pradesh again, this UPR brand of rice. He has brand name and he's keeping all his product into this kind of bags where he has put his stamp and all, certifier's name and everything is there. So now what as extension person, I have developed some experience and expertise in this area. So I am providing at IVRI training to the inspectors of certification agencies on organic livestock certification. Say, for example, Rajasthan Organic Certification Agency, they trained their inspectors at IVRI, and I trained them on, now they are eligible. Now government of India is making this compulsory. Yesterday there was a meeting in Delhi wherein they were saying all those who are venturing into this kind of area, they will have necessarily training. Their inspectors need to be trained. Aditi certification from Bangalore, I went there and I trained their inspectors. So likewise, this many farmers, this he exported 50 crore this year, this mint grower. Now he want to switch over to livestock production also, organic. So he need extension advice. I'm skipping many of these slides for the time's sake. This kind of a farmer, they're having tie-up with Syngenta. All the way from Florida, this expert flew to his farm in Bareilly and having helping the capsicum growing, and they are breeding the farm, and farmer is having this kind of arrangements. So always, and then this in the livestock sector, farmer to farmer is a progressive farmer who is in contact with IVRI, providing extension advice to his colleagues in the village, because we gave some advice on Napier raising and so that. And the progressive farmers are good source of extension that can happen. So in Nagpur, I saw very good that the government did on this one, Ministry of Agriculture, that there was stalls for the progressive farmers, farmer to farmer, farmers were sharing information through this kind of slot. So this, you see this farmer thought of selling semen, not only milk from the cows and buffaloes, and then he established the state-of-art semen processing laboratory at his home and started selling it. So likewise, this, you see now, extension personnel must be updated on current scenario. This is the latest statistics on organic certified milk, these livestock products available. There are certified units now, meat. Now there are almost 110 certified organic milk dairies there. Dairies are there. Organic production. Poultry units are coming up. Now we have started exporting certified organic ghee to United Arab Emirates. So we are slowly. So far the component of livestock in organic production is very less, but it is growing. For that, they will need extension advice from extension personnel. So are we ready for that kind of advice? Raw milk versus variety of products and byproducts from cattle. Farmers selling only raw milk, often with very little profit, but entrepreneurs, they produce, variety of milk products. Think of variety of products, including from cow dung. Also, cow dung is a big business opportunity. You see, then he has established a company, Sayogi. He got trained at IVRI, and now he has established a company, Sayogi Biotech, and selling this compost manure, making from cow dung manure. So, these startups are coming up in livestock sector. You see how he has kept and named it Gobar Gold. Gobar and dried up, so foul smell is coming. Anybody will readily pay 50 rupees per kg of this cow dung. Kept so nicely, kept in a very shopping mall somewhere in the cell. These startup BBSc final year student, they came up with this idea. We wanted to support them for 5 lakh rupees so that they can develop their business ventures. So these are the new developments happening. And then this taking a job in the value chain. Why a poultry farmer will produce only these broilers and eggs only? Then this farmer is making home delivery of eggs and the poultry birds. You simply make a phone call or a WhatsApp message and he will deliver at home. And also making his own feed to feed the poultry birds. So for every stuff he needs support. He keeps on coming to our Central Avian Research Institute in Bareilly, so he get advice on everything, and then he is continuously trying to improve his profit from ventures. So that the new generation, this youth need to be shown all this. We need to facilitate interaction between these kind of entrepreneurs with the youth. So as extension agent, this is our duty, what I feel. So the new generation of the farmers, dairy farmers, they're highly educated people. This lady is masters in economics from London. Now she is doing dairy farming. Anybody will be wondering that why she. Now if extension people start interacting with this kind of people, this kind of a new generation farmers, it's a very, very big challenge because they know all about breed, feed and all, a lot of information they have. They expect us to go one step ahead. So youth, especially because upcoming generation of farmers, they need training on these aspects. They need to be trained. So now this, I was told about the mint grower. Now he slowly want to have organic livestock facilities. So making farmers visit, they are visiting our institute and they want to have some information. You see how global this in GIZ, All-in-One, Soil, Delphi, there are very, very big international companies abroad. And they are in touch with our farmers here in India and a small village in Bareilly. And they are interacting and they are providing know-how. And also there's a competition also between, because if we are not able to do it, these people will keep on coming and they will have their own business. So our farmer will feel that we are not useful and they can draw from external advice. So and then waste opportunity, how to utilize. Sometimes we are throwing fruit and vegetable as a waste that can be turned to an animal feed. How that can be done? So we have a number of ways for different species of animals. This waste of the different crops and fruits can be made it. There is a huge opportunity to do. The farmers also need, entrepreneurs also need how they can turn waste into opportunity by making animal feed. You see a variety of animal feeds have been made by fruit and vegetable waste like this. And then also NIIP, the same institute in Bangalore, they have come up with the silage coming from the pineapple. So this is entrepreneur, we have supported him under RKVI Raftar, 13 lakh rupees, Nikhil Bora. He underwent training for 2 months at IVRI, how to turn fruit and vegetable waste into palatable pellets for animal feeding. So he has fabricated this machine, and then you see they need this kind of people, they are seeking advice, and we should be able to tell them how to do it. So likewise, this motivating is easier, arranging support established agri-ventures is difficult. Raising expectation is easier, supporting business aspiration is tedious. Convincing for new venture requires skills. Handling farmers requires skills. Support of financial institution, input and marketing agencies are crucial. All these are the role for extension people also. We should not feel that our advice is only tell what to feed, how to increase productivity, what to feed. No, that is not the end of everything. These are the new roles extension people are supposed to do. So this also how to label their product so that they can directly sell to the consumers. So because many multinational companies are in competition, so a small scale producer, how they can compete, we need to give them support. These FPOs, NABARD, and what are the different schemes are there for livestock and poultry development. So we are supposed to tell the different schemes to the farmers also. So now biotourism, because there is a separate lecture on this issue. This is coming up in a big way. Livestock also offer good opportunities for the organized visits of the school children. So now finally towards the final, I say that extension advice services need to pay attention to analyzing the market to assess potential of different commodities and services by doing SWOT analysis and other methods. Organizing farmers into groups like farmer interest groups, FPOs, developing soft skills among themselves as also among the farmers to enhance the interactive and communication skill of the farmers, establishing value chain and linkage for marketing and agro-processing, advice on product planning, educating the farming community about market niche, segmentation and profit making, assisting farmer group in direct marketing, acquiring complete market intelligence and sharing agriculture market information, documenting success stories via videos, blogs and articles to promote market-driven agriculture. These we have to engage ourselves. Traditional advisory services and the new extension workers need to re-skill and reconfigure their roles to help agripreneurs or facilitate links to specialized training agencies who can facilitate the incubation of new enterprise ideas, accelerate business growth, and provide longer-term monitoring to sustain emerging business ventures. Agripreneurs can come from any part of agriculture value chain. They include farmers, traders, processors, retailers. They also include business services such as agro dealers, production services, equipment services, market information services, financial service providers that support the value chain. For the most part, rural advisory services tend to support the core value chain actors towards the production and of the value chain. Working with agripreneurs require a fundamental shift in the relation between service providers and clients, embracing a partnership approach rather than the provider-client model. These are some of the issues. So this kind of experiences, documenting farmers' feedback, it is very important. Say, for example, chaff fodder selling could be more profitable. That you see, one can have a business into this one, how to sell chaff fodder into. So this we took this Napier promotion in a very campaign mode for last 2 years, and we did a lot of activities to promote Napier production among farmers. So these are all YouTube videos we uploaded. Honorable Director General of ICR, Deputy Director General, Animal Secretary ICR, also they visited this experience about Napier, how we are promoting this one. Because fodder is very important area in livestock sector. There is a fodder scarcity. How to overcome this problem? We try to promote product cultivation among farmers by our innovative extension activities we took it. So now the new extension, these extension professionals now, those young graduates, now they are opening their ventures. Our own student from IVRI, now he is running websites and providing consultancies in lifestyle. This is a big competition now coming over the conventional extension services, because these new generation people, they are coming up with the new ideas. So we have to match our our caliber and skills to meet the requirements of the farmers. So these are some new generation voice. So this is finally I would say to the last, think global, act local, specialized product development and marketing. So we have to promote this one, what is happening in the Western countries, Europe, America. This is going to happen in India. Our landscape need to be changed. We need to commercialize our agriculture to maximize profit. I visited this dairy in Italy in 2019. So this is, a specialized certified organic cheese to export to other European countries, and also having a different variety of product from the milk right at his home, opening a shop and selling, and no middleman involved. And he himself, I brought a purchase. A beautiful video you can see bio hombre into this that dairy farm, which is available in video, very nice video. You see the kind of farmers in Europe. So we want that our farmers need to be very smart, and for that extension people have to be very smart. So this is final comment I will make, that we need to make ourselves very smart. Thank you very much. Yeah, Truvit.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Mahesh Chandra, for very inspiring session on livestock and entrepreneurship, and lot of examples and the field visits all enriches the way you articulate the things needed to be changed and what are things are happening. But whatever the participants, those who are having any questions, quickly can put in the chat box. And anyway, Dr. Mahesh Chandra, before coming any chat box question, I have one question. We see large across the country, large number of farmers and even youth, they are doing dairy or livestock, they are there. But generally, see, traditionally they will do. But these are isolated success cases very often. It is there, but we are unable to take in the larger scale. For example, ACABC, those who are agriculture or even veterinary graduates, 40% of them, they are doing dairy related, but all they will do very traditionally. Even across the country, 40% they will do traditional way only dairy. But like whatever you shown, those are very interesting examples. How we can take these type of innovations, or some farmers really doing very interesting way, or to showcase and how to reach, really inspire the large number of people.
Yeah, you're right, because these are isolated example, definitely, but we need to organize them into group. Individually, they find it very difficult to do, being very small in operations. So they cannot value add in the, say, for example, if someone is having 4 liters of milk at his home, with that 4 liters of milk, value adding into me is very difficult. So if some 10 youth or 15 youth from that particular village, and then they can brand name later on also, and collectively do and install a small chilling plant at their own, at the village level, and collectively all the youth of that village, that mentality have to be developed into them. Then they have to work into groups, because they want to work independently, and it is very difficult to do value addition, processing, and all these things that require a big volume, volume of milk and produce products, so that it can be value added and marketed into. For that, they have to do it collectively. FPOs is a right opportunity. This commodity group, especially commodity group or FPOs, they need to organize themselves, and collectively they have to do it. Individually, it is very difficult. You're right.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh Chandra, for a very candid answer. And there is one question. It may not very specific to the presentation or entrepreneurship in livestock sector, but there is Mane, there is a question. Mr. Mane asked, how can we pull the students in extension? How we can, maybe he's putting, how we can attract the students in the extension, because they can form a great workforce in the future. And maybe
surely. Actually, when we are trying to change the syllabus, we are trying to make it more business-like, some courses and communication skill facilitation. Mostly it happened because of the teaching at the UG level in extension has been, say, kind of a monotonous. That subject was not so exciting, and not practical exposure was very little into that one. That distracted many of the students to extension subject. But now slowly it is changing. Many good students are coming to extension now. And there is a big competition going to happen between MBA students and extension students. Our syllabus has to be really changed to be very practical, so that the market, those who are recruiting them, they find some practical worth in recruiting such one, when it will link to the kind of a job opportunities and absorption in the private sector. then a student will come look towards extension subject. Yes, really, this is a subject. If not MBA exactly, in agriculture extension, we are no less than MBAs. So that kind of feeling we need to inculcate in them. And it's a challenge for the extension teachers, what I feel. Our responsibility is very big to make it exciting and glamorous subject. Lacking in glamour, our teachers, sometimes I should not criticize, many of them, they were so routine and monotonous. And especially in veterinary colleges, I have seen, then students were least interested in extension subject in the UG level. So that need to change. One good teachers will be there, that will change whole scenario. Our new syllabus, really, we need to make it so useful and so attractive.
Yeah, that means our new syllabus makes extension become more glamorous. Yeah.
Yes, sure. Yeah, it will make thanks to effort from ICR, Manage and ISA, and some good efforts were made, and we deliberated a lot how to make it so relevant to the current context. So if it is implemented, that will change the scenario, definitely.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And another interesting question. We see large number of FPOs, but the farmer producer organization livestock sector is very less. It is why.
Yes, very less. Yes, but there are successful. They need to follow. This Pradhan is doing very good work in poultry, organizing farm women and all in Madhya Pradesh and others. Right now, one of my PhD student is trying to work on this one. So it's a good. That is the right question. That in livestock sector, FPOs are very less. But if you look at dairy cooperative themselves are FPOs kind of thing. So that if they are now farmer producer companies we are talking about on the same model, so many retired veterinarians, they have started running organization like that. Not exactly FPOs in that sense, but what they are doing, that is not less than FPOs. In Odisha, I have seen when a retired group of veterinarians, they have started on the cooperative dairy pattern, they have started doing. These kind of experiences will come up in coming days.
Thank you very much, sir. And there are a few more questions, something very specific. We will take it up later on, and it's a time. On behalf of Manage and all the participants, I thank Dr. Mahesh Chandar for a very interesting session on livestock entrepreneurship.